Welcome to tonight's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. Tina's joining me tonight. Brandon's taking another sabbatical. He's hanging out with his actual friends, not with his dad tonight.
Friends in real life.
Friends in real life, his IRL.
You did not just say that.
I know. I just learned what that actually meant relatively recently. Because it was IRL.
Really?
No, because I always went by the computer IRL. I was like, what the hell does that have to do with... Oh, in real life. Okay, you know how I found out? I was watching Son of Zorn, and it had the stand-ins, because it says Zorn, IRL.
It's okay. I just recently learned, the terrible
Oh, the
acronyms for...
Weaponized attack penguins?
Yeah. Because of work. Because I work with 20-somethings. So yeah, when me and the nurse practitioner that I work for, who's a little bit older than me, had to go outside the back door of the office to listen to the song, and
Yep.
so we could know what they were talking about. That's how you know you're old, right there.
Oh, I knew it was when I had to start Googling stuff.
Yeah.
And it's horrible.
It's a real struggle being in your 40s in this day and age.
Oh, man, seriously. Because, well, not really. I can literally now, I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Put that down.
Yeah, exactly.
And, well, what's real bad is that I get it because of the shop. I get lots of teenage kids through the shop. And they hang out and they play Magic and stuff like that. And then I learn stuff from them. And then they learn stuff from me. So.
Although I don't feel so bad because neither of the boys knew what that meant.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, good.
I only knew what it meant because everybody was like, that's just fucked up. But we grew up, because y'all get Cardi B. We had Gillette.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, even before that, we had 2 Live Crew and...
No. We had Shebop.
And... See, that's
that goes old school.
Subtle.
Yeah, that's one of... that took me up until I was an adult. And I was like... Oh, that's what... oh, I get that now.
Yeah.
Because 80s was all about subtlety.
Yes.
That's like...
80s had great subtlety, though.
Well, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, relax.
Mm-hmm.
It's like... That... Oh, and that was on the regular radio back in the day. With terrestrial radio.
Well,
for those who don't know,
was great because people didn't get it at all until she actually explained it. And then it was like, oh.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. As always, Group Therapy Podcast is brought to you by RU Game, the best comic book video game collectible shop in all of Pickaway, Ohio. For 124 North Sunset Drive, Pickaway, Ohio, 45356. It's the best because it's my shop.
Well, yeah.
You can come visit me and buy stuff or sell me stuff because it's buy, sell, trade. Don't you dare miss it.
In real life.
Yes, in real life. You can meet me from the podcast. And although it's usually the other way around, it's people who know me from the shop watch the podcast, not people who watch the podcast know me from the podcast come to the shop. What was it, Dave Chappelle? He goes, "Hey, the guy from the grocery store is on TV." And he goes, "No, the guy from TV is at the grocery store." I'm the comic book guy, for those who don't know. That's what everybody...
You've been the comic book guy for a very, very long time.
I've been the comic book guy, and I've been the video store guy. I am one of those two things.
Oh, yeah.
So now I'm the video game store guy, too. Mm-hmm. Which is weird, because I don't get to play much.
And now I'm Paul's wife. You're Paul's wife.
Yes. Oh, you're Paul's kids. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how my kids are known around town. Mm-hmm. And that's like, everybody goes, "Oh, you know those are your kids?" I'm like, yeah, I know they're my kids. But yes, they do look an awful lot like me. My children, my biological children, look a lot like me. Even my non-biological child looks a lot like me.
He does. Well, he just blends in with the other ones, so,
Yes.
It works out.
All right. Tonight, we're going to go back to another throwback episode, and we're going to talk about...
Because we're old.
Because we're old. Because everybody talks about, what were you doing on Friday? This is a lit Friday night. You see that little meme on Facebook? And, Friday night in the 80s, and there's a Nintendo.
What did we say it was when we were kids, though? We didn't say lit. We didn't
Rad.
say... Oh, okay.
It was rad.
I don't know. I was kind of after rad a little
Killer.
bit.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Mine was always awesome stuff.
Yeah.
I dropped the F-bomb, and it was like, this is awesome. When we were kids, it was like, this is an awesome Friday night in like 1980, and there's a Nintendo, a copy of Ghostbusters on VHS, like a Jolt Cola, and a personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut. Now I'm gonna lie, that would have been an awesome night.
Yeah. I will agree.
Yes. See, we remember back in the day when you actually could go in a Pizza Hut to eat. And they had like the cabinet that they had arcade games in there, so you could play arcade games while you're waiting for. And the cool part is they had random tables that were the video game cabinets that were tables too. Remember those?
No.
The ones that you sit at and you put your hands actually under, and the screen was in the middle, and it was a table.
Yeah, I've never been to that Pizza Hut.
Okay, well, you could have those Pizza. Actually, that was what that arcade 1-up cabinet I was going to buy. That's the style that was at Sam's Club.
Yeah.
The only reason I haven't bought that yet is I have no idea how I'm going to get it home. Because I don't want to have to drive. I have to go put brakes on the van to drive down there to pick it up. Okay. But we're going to talk about, we've done Saturday morning, and we're going to talk about Friday nights and Saturday nights. And maybe a little bit in the Saturday afternoon column and stuff like that, maybe even in the mornings. But, I remember Friday nights having, you didn't watch nowhere near the amount of television I watched.
No. I did things like go outside.
Yeah, because you had friends. I had friends too, but, we went outside, and when we went outside, we still have all of our fingers. That's all I'm saying. It's surprising.
Yeah, from the stories I've heard, mostly from Rick.
Rick, oh yeah. But no, when I was a kid, we would go, and it was Friday night. We would bus butt home from school, and you would usually go out to eat on Friday night. At least my house. Either that or I'd go to my grandma and grandpa's. Because when I was younger, I always stayed at my grandma and grandpa's house because that's what it was. And
I stayed at my grandma's a lot.
I would go and I would watch, I'd go watch all the late night horror movies and stuff. Horror movies, like Godzilla, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and stuff like that. And then as I got older in the junior high school, I kind of, that went down, and I stayed, I was home more often. And, Friday nights were, still again, I still watch, but that was in the day of VHS tapes. So we would haul ass down. As soon as I got home, I would go home, drop off all my school stuff, hop on my bike, ride downtown, usually me and Dante or me and Rick. We'd go downtown, we'd hit all the video stores to see what movies we wanted to rent for the night. And we'd watch all kinds of stuff. But then there was a period of time where, like I said, when I was going, and I was with Grandma a lot, and Grandpa, and she worked at the bowling alley here in Piqua. And so I was there every Friday and Saturday night. And I hung out with my buddy Chad at that time. And man, I bowled a ton. I got really good at bowling. And actually, if I start bowling again, I will get really good at bowling relatively quickly. Shot a lot of pool, played a lot of video games, because you're in a bowling alley. There's all that stuff, and it was all essentially free. Mm-hmm. But we had the back room of the bowling alley, which they closed off, mostly because now it's open. But back when we were kids, they closed it off because they'd only open it up if they had a lot of people in there, but they tend to keep it shut. But that was our hangout. We'd play G.I. Joe, Legos, Transformers, whatever. But we would watch. We'd always have the TV on in the corner, and we'd watching TV, playing and bowling and whatever we could do that night. And Friday nights, but then, like I said, as we got older, it became VHSs and we ran a lot of stuff. But at Saturday nights is when everything would go crazy, because that was when syndicated television started.
The masked racing team is here.
Wildcats and Meteor, come back.
Roger, Wildcat.
I've spotted the Venom Buzzard, and I'm in pursuit.
On my way, Clutch.
Looks like company, Max. Buzzard, detach. Wildcat convert. Trouble ahead.
Coming soon. Wildcat, Buzzard, and Meteor each sold separately. Meteor closing.
You're outnumbered, Mask. Meteor, release. Time to change the odds.
Mask. Reillusion is the ultimate weapon.
I'd do anything to get Fred's yummy fruity pebbles.
Fred Rock Jones.
Tastes fruity delicious.
Barney.
Time to get into the swing of things.
Poached Fruity or Cocoa Pebble cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast. Yabba dabba delicious.
These glasses from Pebbles give you private eyes. So you can look real cool and not be recognized.
You can see out, but they can't see inside.
Pull around stuff to keep your pants.
Mystified.
Private eyeglasses. Want any specially marked box of Poached Pebble cereal?
Okay, so Saturday nights we would sit there and we would watch. Is this when Fox first popped up? We got syndicated television, and we got Friday the 13th, the series, Freddy's Nightmares, Monsters, Tales from the Dark Side.
See, that was late 80s, early 90s. That wasn't
Yeah.
because when I watched,
And then, of course, we got Glow.
when I watched that stuff, because Silk Stockings was in the middle of it.
Oh, see, Silk Stockings. Yeah, no, that was on CBS late night or Crime Time after Prime Time.
Yeah. But
remember,
you had that, but you had the
Acapulco
other. Those were all the later night shows. that
Yeah,
I'd stay up
those
for.
were the early
And-
'90s. Oh man, I watched
yeah.
so much television. And see, that was back in the day when they would get away with a lot on just
Oh, yeah.
regular TV
Oh, yeah.
after a certain point.
But that was, they get away with more than that now.
Oh, that's I was watching a thing and they were talking about Friday the 13th, the series, and one of the reasons it got canceled is because as soon as that show started, people were upset because they're like, "Oh, there's blood and evil and all this stuff on." It came on at 10 o'clock, and I'm sitting there like, "Oh, okay," but that show is super tame by today's standards.
Oh,
Definitely. Supernatural blows that out of the water on what they're allowed to show and what they're allowed to get away with, and that's on prime time on a network television show. This isn't syndication.
Yeah.
But like I said, we would watch those, and like I said, we'd watch Glow, and then we'd watch when Saturday Night Live, we'd watch Saturday Night Live but the big Saturday night show was one of the greatest shows of all time. Headbangers Ball. Oh man,
I was just gonna say I was an MTV kid.
I watched that a lot.
Yeah,
When
MTV was what I watched more than anything else, all the time. But you were watching shows and I was sitting in my room listening to music.
Yep, I watched a lot of TV.
I listened to a lot of music.
1987. 410 episodes of Headbangers Ball.
Wow. Yeah.
But, well,
And Ricky Rockman get crap all the time.
yeah. I remember when it had was the other guy, the guy who wasn't the metal guy, but he just had long hair, wore a leather coat, so they always put him on there.
Oh yeah, that was weird. What was his name?
Alan Hunter.
Yeah,
It might have been it.
I think so.
looking
Because
it
he
up
had
now.
the blonde,
Yeah, he had the blonde
Foofy,
like Bon Jovi hair.
Yeah.
No, I listened to a lot of music, but it was always that I always had my headphones. I always had my cassette Walkman that you could fit, if you were lucky, 90 minutes of music on it. Most of the time, an hour. Adam Curry. There was the first guy that was under Kevin Seal. No idea who Kevin Seal was. Oh, yeah. What? Oh. Okay, now I need to go find this. Headbangers Ball is on website only, and Jose Mangan is the host of Headbangers Ball. For those who don't know, if you don't have Sirius Radio, Jose Mangan is the heavy metal Mexican.
Yes. And he's awesome. And if you go to his like his social media, you can watch videos on him showing you how to make guacamole and things like that. Yep. And it's fantastic.
Yeah, so this is our play to get Jose Mangan on the show at one point or another. So
Supernaturals, change to fight with ghostly might. Supernaturals, behold the Supernaturals, ghostly warriors that change to fight when they're hit with light, because each has an amazing hologram, an eerie hologram you control with a turn of your hand. Turn them into the light and watch them change into even more powerful creatures.
Change to fight with ghostly might.
Supernaturals, each sold separately, new from Tonka.
Talking about Headbangers Ball.
Headbangers Ball. Oh my god, I remember watching Headbangers Ball, and sometimes though it depended on if the shows I were watching were on, because I would watch, I'd watch like Friday the 13th. I'd watch the other ones, and then those went off. And then Headbangers Ball came on, and I watched Headbangers Ball till it went off. And then, 120 Minutes came on. That's when you know that was the alternative show. When you're like, time to turn it.
Yeah.
Don't want to watch Nirvana.
No.
For those that don't know, I do not like the grunge music. So.
No, neither one of us.
Metalhead till I did. So, although, I'm not going to lie, I like a lot of music more now than I ever did. But there's a lot more better music out there now. But there's also a lot of shit music out there now.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, I would watch Headbangers Ball, and I watched that mostly through high school. So that was probably that's why I didn't even know there was a first guy, because I did not watch it in '87. I didn't watch it because I don't even think we had MTV at that time, because I was living I was still living in Piqua in '87. I moved to Sydney in '88, and that's when we didn't have nothing. So I would have I'd go to my dad's and record Headbangers Ball. Mm-hmm. So I just put a tape in, a hit, record.
Weird.
Yep. And then that's what I would watch, because I didn't have any, like I said, we had like 12 channels out in the country if we were lucky. So everything I had was recorded. So I'd record it at my dad's house and then watch it in Sydney. And, that was before, what'd we get? I remember we got it right before I moved out. We got Prime Star, which was the early satellite television. And then I think Prime Star eventually became like Dish Network or something like that.
I have no idea.
Oh my god, it was horrible.
You remember way more of that stuff than I do.
I remember non-important stuff.
Well, you remember what had to do with TV and TV.
Oh, yeah.
I don't, because that wasn't, like, I had a few shows that I watched. I was outside a lot in the summer. And even in the winter. Like, I don't know.
I probably was, but
I mean, to be out doing things.
Even when I went camping, or even when we went fishing and stuff like that, I still had a portable TV I took with me everywhere.
Of course you did.
I did.
I had a radio.
The only reason I got rid of my little portable TV was because everything went digital, and the little portable TV didn't serve any purpose at that point anymore, because you didn't get a signal. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Probably a lot because of my dad, because my dad was always out in the garage, and he always had music
Well,
going.
my parents did
And
too.
I spent
dad
time out in the garage with him.
But I grew up with the TV, and my toys and my comic books. Those were my big ones. And
We
people
had very different childhoods.
very, very different childhoods.
He stayed mostly in one place. I moved around.
Your parents stayed married. Mine separated.
But, I mean, my mom is my dad's second wife, too.
Yeah,
And
yeah, but you.
I have a half-sister and a brother that is both of my parents, and you're an only child.
I'm an only child. Yep. But no,
Grew
it's
up real different.
yeah, we were way different. But we grew up around. I mean, the thing is it's funny because we've talked about this before. There's a 2.5 year difference between you and I, and on some counts, that's a lifetime. Because I remember stuff that you're just like look at me and like, I have no clue what you're talking about, and I'm like, that was huge. You don't remember that? And you're like,
Yeah, but
No.
we also... Okay, I spent a lot of time in this area because my grandma lived in Tip City, and that was where she lived my whole life. Mm-hmm. And that was always kind of like a home base, but I lived in the Dayton area. I lived down close to Cincinnati. I lived in this area. So I feel like that made a difference too. I mean, when I lived in Hamilton, I don't really remember being indoors a whole lot. I was mostly outside playing, riding bikes or whatever. I was a tomboy. I was always outside. When I was inside, it was playing Atari.
I played a lot of Atari.
Yeah, I mean, it was playing that with my buddy, or I don't know, playing with toys.
Yeah,
But
see,
I was outside more often.
I mean, even when I was outside, I like I said recently, we moved. We live 2.5 blocks from the house I grew up in, and I drive by it, and I look and I'm like, this is the area that I ran when I was a kid. We'd go to Fountain Park, we'd go to the, and I think about it. We go to little Buckeye Chuck's down here. I used to go there when it was a stop and go, and get comics, or I'd
That
go.
was a stop and go?
That was a stop and go.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And they just call it a stop and rob because it got robbed a couple times.
My mom worked at a stop and go, I think in Hamilton, and she worked at the one in Tip City that is now a donut shop
Yeah,
and a dance studio. Is it still a laundromat?
I think it's a laundromat and a donut shop now. I don't think it's a dance studio in there anymore.
There was a dance studio there at one
Nope.
point. The laundromat's been there forever.
Yeah.
I mean, forever, but it was a stop and go at one point.
Well, and the funny part, I keep saying that. I would go and I would ride my bicycle around town and stuff like that. I would go to the little convenience store that's right over here, and it was Nolan's when I was a kid. Now I don't know, was it Nicklin something now?
CJ's, I think.
And I would go over there and I'd buy comics or I'd get penny candy and stuff like that. And
I've never been inside.
yeah, I haven't been inside in 20 years probably. Then I would roll, I'd go to the newsstand. I'd go to the little used bookstore here in town. And we'd go to the library. Me and Dante and Campbell and a dude named Chad Tips, we'd sit there and play D&D or Marvel superheroes or DC heroes or whatever role-playing game we decided to play that day. We'd take turns buying box sets and stuff, and
You were so organized.
Yeah, I was massively organized.
So organized as a child. Like, you had your routine, and you had...
Yeah.
You had, the things you did on certain days and certain nights, and see, that's just strange to me because it was just like, what are we doing today? I don't know, we'll figure it out when we do it.
No, it was,
Let's go ride our bikes. Okay.
I know, and the worst part about it is I'm still super got my I mean, literally, I'm trying to make schedule stuff for next Friday. Like, I'm gonna grab food and bring it home. Okay.
It's so hard for me to make plans.
See, I've
never been good. Never ever in my life been good at making plans. Like when we went on vacation, I was proud of that because I planned stuff out.
That's the best you have ever done ever.
Like I planned it out down to where we were going to park and how to save money and yeah, you ever want to go on vacation on the cheap, I can help.
We went to Chicago. I'm just like, where are we going? We're going to Chicago. As far as, No, see, I'll go on vacation, and you think that I would be more prepped for that, but I have everything prepped for the convention I'm going to. Mm-hmm. I'm not as prepped as Mark.
No,
nobody's as prepped as Mark. Mark has his comic boxes prepped, separated, unbagged, unboarded.
In order,
separate out with little things like, okay, this is for such and such a sign, this is for such and such. Then
you can't hang out with him because he will try to get you to stand in line to get more things signed.
Go over there and stand in line. Even though you can't do that no more because like everybody charges now. So you go up there and you get like 2 or 3 books signed and that's it. I'm trying to get away from getting books signed because a lot of people just don't like books signed. Mm-hmm. They just don't want them. They're like, oh, there's no certificate. I'm like, I can guarantee it was signed because I got it signed.
Yeah, they want
the actual certificate, and the thing is they only want like a CGC certificate or a DEF certificate or.
I have no idea what that means.
Comic book, the graded comics, the CGC, they have a witness there to guarantee it, and Dynamic Forces, DFE, not DF, DF. Wow. They have certificates that. I mean, I actually was talking about becoming a notary public just so I could notarize and give certificates of actual authenticity for books and stuff that are signed.
Yeah.
But no, as much as I had, literally in my house, I had my I was not a kid that threw everything in one box. My G.I. Joes were in a box. My Transformers were in a box. My He-Man was in a box.
You're still like that.
A little bit. Not quite. I mean, I got a shelf up here that says otherwise because there's Sectors, He-Man.
Yeah, but you got the stuff that you have put away is a different story.
Yeah, because I have boxes of G.I. Joes, boxes of He-Man, boxes of this, boxes of that, boxes of VHS tapes, boxes of... But I got albums, I got boxes of CDs, I got boxes of cassettes. Because remember, they can't take away media if you own it physically. See, I'm not gonna lie. If we had streaming networks and stuff like that when I was a kid, I would have never met you. I would have never left the house. Like, there's more stuff on TV. I gotta watch it.
I remember you watching stuff that you hated. You complained about it.
Oh, I hate watched.
But you still watched it because it was on. Mm-hmm. And because that was your routine.
Oh yeah,
and that drove me crazy.
Well, that's like I hate Seinfeld, but literally the show.
Watched it.
I watched the show before Seinfeld, and I watched the show after Seinfeld. So I watched Seinfeld because that was back in the day. You know. There wasn't a whole lot of... Well, there was channels, but, if there was nothing
that's when you turn the TV off and walk away for an hour.
Yeah, but it's just easier to sit there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm. Hey, But then again, there's shows that have been on that I have never watched, ever. I can honestly say I've never seen an episode of Jersey Shores, any of those. I've never seen any of those dumbass shows.
Never had any interest.
Ever. I see the commercials and you're like, that looks like a train wreck. I like watching train wrecks, but nah, I'll pass. Mm-hmm. That's like the one time somebody got me to watch an episode of Survivor. I've watched one episode of Survivor, and that was because I caught the end of it. Because what was it? We watched CSI, and they made it like the dude got attacked by an alligator. And I'm like, well, I got to watch next week's episode because I'm going to see a dude get attacked by an alligator. And then the dude just got smoke inhalation and fell into a fire. And he didn't even fall into a fire. He fell next to a fire. And they're like, oh, I'm like, never watching that again. I've never watched another episode of Survivor.
I think the most I've watched of it is watching the end of it.
Nope, I've never even watched that.
No, I mean watching the last 5 minutes of the episode because...
Oh, yeah, like
waiting for the next show to come
CSI to come
on,
up. So, that was back when that was a show I had to watch every week, CSI. And then Grissom left, and then it was a show I didn't watch anymore. Because everybody left.
Yeah. I know, you had your schedule.
I had my schedule. I still got my schedule. It's not as bad, though, anymore.
That's because it's streaming and you
everything,
can watch.
Yeah, I can watch whatever I want.
Except when I get kicked out of the room here for you guys to watch The Mandalorian.
We watch Friday. That's The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I get kicked out of my spot.
You can come over here and sit. You can sit over here and watch it with us. But that's what time I can usually watch it. I can watch it in the morning, but depending on what I get done in the morning. But I let you finish watching your show, and then I watch The Mandalorian. Yeah. But you got to watch your show. So
yeah, but I can have stretches in between watching.
Yeah, but The Mandalorian is every Friday. That's the thing now.
Yeah.
I can't wait. We're gonna get the Boba Fett miniseries, and we're gonna get the Obi-Wan Kenobi season. So that'll be another day. That'll be like, oh, time for. Hopefully, it's all on the same day. I'll just take and put like 2 hours aside, and that'll be what I watch. Be Obi-Wan, Mandalorian, and Boba Fett. Be like watching the Star Wars every week. That's right. Because I'm not gonna lie, the Mandalorian, Rebels, and the Clone Wars are the best Star Wars they've had since the original trilogy.
Mandalorian's good.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's great. I mean, the fact that...
I'll agree with that.
Well, I'm not going to give anything away.
Right now, I don't have an attention span to watch anything. Like, I've been having a hard time with sitting down and watching anything. I'm on a music kick right now, so I've been listening to music a lot more.
I watch literally...
In the kitchen baking and listening to music.
I sleep for 6.5, 7 hours a night. And that's probably the only time outside of taking a shower I don't watch TV.
And right now.
You're not
watching TV.
No, I'm not watching TV. But I'm really surprised because I could very easily put that on and put it in the background and have it on.
I'm surprised you haven't.
No. But no, there's... I'm definitely a child of television.
When we were both living, when our oldest biological son was born, we weren't together. We had our own places. And we split up when I was pregnant and got back together when he was almost a year old.
Yeah.
So he would come over to my apartment and I would have my TV off all day. And it freaked him out, so he would come over, and the first thing that he would do was turn on my television, and then ask me why it wasn't on. I'm like, because I don't watch TV all day.
And the funny part about it is, I found out that there's a lot of people like that. Even if you're not watching it, you have to have a TV on.
Yeah, not me.
The first thing I do when I come down here,
I know.
I get my phone, I turn the TV on, and then I go back upstairs, take my shower.
I know.
And then I come down here. It freaks me out not to have a TV on.
I know, it's weird to me.
Yeah. And I found out, the two other people that are like that? Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie.
That doesn't surprise me.
But no, I got... And... probably watching TV made me socially awkward when I was younger. And I don't think it ever gave me like a false sense of reality or anything like that. Like they used to make it like TV's gonna rot your mind. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no,
it was just media. I mean,
I just watched too much, and I probably should have been out with other people. But I don't think that's really.
I think it was just as socially awkward. I mean,
Oh
you know,
yeah. I mean,
just in different ways.
We joke around. I had friends. I had I had several friends. But even that, you know, like, to be honest, I didn't watch like any TV with Dante. That was all about playing D&D, gaming, or you know, going to the movies. I don't think I've never sat down and watched TV with Campbell. I know I've done it. I know I've sat down with Rick. I have never sat down and watched TV with, like, Bill, but I know I've sat down and watched TV with Mark. Bone, kinda, because me and Bone will watch stuff at the shop. And then we both watched Forged in Fire, and we're both like, "Oh, did you see what they did on Forged in Fire this week?" That's how I know him. But you know, that's it. That's what's gonna be awkward when the boys finally move out of the house. The day I yell upstairs and there's no boys to come downstairs to watch TV with me.
Yeah.
And no Joe to watch Forged in Fire and The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Even though
he's just gonna come over.
he'll just come over and we'll watch Forged in Fire and Mandalorian, but I won't be able to call up to him and be like, Toto. So
that's why you need to get on Brandon so he can buy the house around the corner, so you can just be like, "Hey, come over.
Come over. It's time for Mandalorian. Time for Forged in Fire."
You're like 3 houses away.
Yeah, see, we're already pumped for this Wednesday. Forged in Fire returns.
Okay.
Yep.
I like Forged in Fire. I just don't have to watch every episode.
That show, I have no idea, but you will. If I start watching it and you get caught, you're done.
Yeah, I can't. Like, if it comes on and you're watching
it's haunting. It's like one of them shows you're like,
then I can't walk away from it.
It's on.
I have to watch it because I have to watch the end.
You gotta see if that guy's knife breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And sometimes I'm rooting for one guy and I'm like, oh, I want them to win. And sometimes I'm like, that dude is a jerk. He needs to go home.
I have no idea how we got hooked on Forged in Fire. It was like a show we just like, I'll give this a shot. You know, give this a try. And the next thing you know, it's like, well, okay. And it's like you start watching. I'm going back and rewatching old ones and going, oh, I missed that. Oh, I missed that. I can't believe that guy actually made it that far. You know, stuff like that.
You do that with shows anyway. Like, you'll find a show and you'll start watching it, and then you have to start watching more of it. You did that with Bar Rescue.
Yeah.
Like, you watched that on a whim.
Yeah, I watched it because we literally went to one of the bars from Bar Rescue, and then I had to start watching Bar Rescue.
Yeah.
And now I turn that on in the morning, usually for like background noise while I'm getting stuff, doing laundry and stuff. But now I turn it off because
because you've watched it all.
Yeah, I've watched every episode of MASH, but I will watch the shit out of some MASH, and you hate that.
I don't hate the show. You just burn me out on it.
And well, it's the other day.
I actually like the show MASH, but
we just rewatched My Name Is Earl because that wasn't on any streaming, and all of a sudden it was on Hulu, and we're like, ooh. So we rewatched all of My Name Is Earl, and that horrible.
You rewatched all
My Name's Earl.
I get like it's on, so if I'm sitting here, I end up watching it because
now there's shows that there's 3 shows that I can always watch: House, MASH, and Kolchak the Night Stalker. I literally watch Kolchak from beginning to end at least once a year.
I can watch House.
Oh, House is
like
bloody brilliant.
Whenever. Yeah.
That's
a great show.
And the thing is that I went back and I started rewatching CSI a while back, and I was like, man, okay. So I burnt through like the first 5 seasons of that again. And then I start getting into the episodes where people start getting taken out of the show, and I'm like,
You stop caring.
I stopped caring again. Even though I've still never watched the series finale. That's where everybody comes back.
I haven't watched
it. And
I
got to see it because that's the return of Grissom
yeah, same. I mean, that was a show that I liked.
I love that show. That was a must watch every week.
Yeah.
Had to watch the CSI.
See, I never did that until me and you got together. Like, I never, like, had to watch a show every single week or anything.
That I've been
until
like
you.
that was like from being a little kid, because there every week I had to watch, every Saturday I had to watch my cartoons. Every Saturday afternoon I had to watch like Commander USA's Groovy Movies or Shock Theater. Every Friday or Saturday night I had to watch Friday the 13th the series.
Wow.
Yeah, I had that.
There was stuff that I watched, I don't know, but it wasn't the same every...
Oh, it's my OCD. I
week,
completely
like-
know why I am the way I am. I mean, I would have had OCD before they knew what OCD was. It's, you know, I had to watch, like, you know, Star Wars. I watched that constantly. It's like, watch it. Then my shows would come on, and I'd watch them. And I was one of them kids that grew up in the 80s. And like I said, it was, you know, you watched Airwolf, you watched A-Team, you watched Knight Rider, you watched Hardcastle McCormick, you watched
Greatest American
Hero.
I loved that show.
You watched Simon and Simon, you watched Magnum, you watched The Fall Guy, you watched Dukes of Hazzard. Then you got into shows that no one remembers but me, but they're out there. I watched Manimal, Street Hawk.
I don't remember that.
Street Hawk was basically the motorcycle version of Knight Rider. Do you remember the Highwaymen?
Yes.
With the two semis, one semi became a
Yes.
helicopter and one became a car. Okay, there was that one. Do you remember Blue Thunder, the TV series?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was based on the movie Blue Thunder. It had Dana Carvey in it. Dana Carvey in a non-comedy role, even though he was the levity. But Misfits of Science. Do you remember that one? No, don't remember Misfits of Science. Do you remember when they put the Twilight Zone came back in the 80s? You remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I loved the Twilight Zone.
Sorry, that was when Burgess Meredith was the narrator then.
Yep, I remember that.
Okay. Do you remember? Oh man, I'm drawing a blank now. This is so horrible. I shouldn't be drawing a blank on this one. You know, because of
We
course
talk about this stuff all the time because there's so much that, you know, you were talking about us being 2.5 years apart, and
it's sometimes
you know,
a lifetime.
Yeah, sometimes it's I just kind of stare at you like because you're talking about this and that, and
Max Headroom.
I remember Max Headroom. I watched it.
Werewolf the TV series.
Yeah.
Automan.
No.
Yeah, I bought the box set of Automan because that shit is still good to this day because it was made by the people who brought you Tron and Glenn Larson. That's not including the fact that I watched Buck Rogers, Battlestar Galactica, and Star Trek because those were all in syndication when I was younger. So I watched a lot of that. Then you had like
Buck Rogers. I remember Battlestar Galactica, but I didn't watch it. See, I remember Doctor Who, but I didn't really know what it was when I was little because my dad watched it.
See, that was by the time I was a teenager when I really discovered Doctor Who.
See, I remember being like young, like little.
Then I discovered like the Avengers, not Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man Avengers. I'm talking Steed and Peel Avengers.
See, I watched that because I watched it with my dad.
Blake Seven, which is a British movie. Space 1999. UFO. Most of all that was in syndication by the time I discovered it, but I had watched.
My dad had me watching a lot of that stuff because he would find it and he'd be like, "Oh, I know what this is," and he'd sit there and I'd end up watching it with him.
Oh yeah, so, I watched the hell out of Space 1999, UFO,
and then I watched all the late night Saturday night stuff with my dad, which we would watch probably the most inappropriate thing for my age, but it was whatever.
I watched
back when I was a kid. I didn't really get censored.
Yeah. I used to watch Bizarre and the Benny Hill Show with my grandpa.
Yep, I watched Benny Hill.
And I also watched, because this is probably when I was in freshman, maybe a little older, but CBS used to have Crime Time After Prime Time. We started talking about this, which was where Silk Stockings came from, Forever Night, Acapulco Heat.
Yep, I watched all of those.
Dark Justice. I want to say there was another one. But no, I got hooked on it, and that was really bad because that didn't start till like midnight or like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I would watch that and then have to get up and go to school. Crime Time After Prime Time. Wikipedia. Ran on CBS 91 and 92. Okay, that was my senior year in high school. I probably still shouldn't have been staying up that late. Should have been getting ready for school because I got home from work.
I was a freshman.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it started in the Pat Sajak show. Pat Sajak had a talk show. All right. Oh yeah, Sweating Bullets. Knows Tropical Heat outside the USA, or in Urban Angel. That was on Monday nights. Forever Night. The Exile. I don't remember the Exile. That was too late. I was definitely trying to go to bed by then. Scene of the Crime. Dangerous Curves. Was Wednesday night. Fly by Night, Silk Stockings, and Dark Justice.
Yeah.
But yeah, Silk Stockings went to USA, Dark Justice went to TNT, and Forever Night went into syndication. But those are the big three. Those are the ones that everybody remembers. But I remember watching those before, and shit, by the time those went off, it was like 2 a.m. And I'd have to get up and go to school at 6. And I would sleep all the way on the bus, and then
I watched a lot of that in the summer, though.
Yeah, I watched TV on.
Being in the summer more than anything. My mom worked third shift, and I'd sit up and watch.
You know who I can blame for Crime Time After Prime Time? Mark. I think funny. Mark told me about it, and I was like, "What now?"
Yeah, me and my dad would sit there and watch it.
But none of my parents would stay up that late because my mom and 10 o'clock was middle of the night for them. They also got up at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, see, my parents didn't. My mom worked third shift, and
so that's how when I was a kid, I knew when I still lived with my mom and stepdad, I knew it was time to go to bed when Gary would get up and go to work.
Sounds about right.
And then I would get up like at noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and start my day all over again when during the summer, because I didn't have to be at work till like 4. So.
Yeah.
Most of the time I'd get up and go in, or then when I was younger, before I had my car, my mom would wake me up. I would get dressed, go to Grandma and Grandpa's, go back to sleep for a couple more hours. And get up and start my day in the summertime, because I hated living in the country. I mean, I don't know how people do it.
I've never lived in the country.
Yeah, we lived I liked where we lived on 185. That was just on the outskirts of town. I liked that.
That's the closest thing for me.
No,
I would. The country.
I would never, especially. That sucks for kids. If you have kids or whatever, especially now, right now with everything getting shut back down and schools closing, you're out in the country and you have shitty internet, you can't do nothing. So the fact that you got to do that at the school and your kid's going to have crappy internet, you live out there, that you're the last roads to get hit when the snow comes, if they get it at all. It's garbage. I hate living in the country.
I know.
I won't do it.
I know.
I literally, the first thing I do if anything ever happens and I get the house, I'm selling it because I don't want to live in it. I don't want to live in a country. I don't mind visiting it, but I don't want to live in it.
One of the children might want it.
Yeah, it's probably just whatever. But I'll store cars out there. Don't touch my cars.
Yeah.
But it's watching TV, like I said, when I was young, I watched way too much. I get it. I understand. It's whatever. I don't even make any qualms about it. I watch way too much TV now, and I don't care. Literally, I'm going back recently, and I love Amazon and hate Amazon at the same time because I'm like, hey, I wanted to watch Space Above and Beyond. And then I found out it's not streaming on any networks. Well, you can get it on Prime, and it's like $2 an episode. And it's 23 episodes, or I could just buy the box set for $20. Shipped. What am I going to pay for? Am I going to pay for the digital and pay $2 an episode and pay almost $50? Or am I going to pay 20?
You're going to buy the physical copy for cheaper.
Hell yeah.
That's just makes sense.
Yeah. But then I did that because I got, like I said, I got the Max Headroom. I got Automan. I've been buying Up's old Saturday morning cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
I even just
bought... But you need to have everything. Like...
My goal is that when I die, I want to be one of them people that they go, he has all of this. We can digitize it and stream it. I was like, there was a lady, and we've said this before. Basically, as soon as the VCRs were available commercially, she started recording everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm just sitting there going, the amount of information this woman has. Mm-hmm. Because there's stuff that probably will never exist. Stuff that aired once and somebody lost it. Or, a local television, show or something like that. That may be it. Is this woman, and I guess they're digitizing it, and I don't know much out of that, but that was the last time I heard.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard they're basically going through everything.
Yeah, it's going to be a library. They said it's going to stream like on YouTube or something like that. Well, I watched. I know it's bad. I watched an episode of Hoarders the other day, and this woman had something like 100 tubs of VHS tapes, and they're like telling her, "Just throw them away," and I'm sitting there going, "No, don't throw those away." Do you know how much information you have that may never exist outside of what's in those tubs? And I'm like, don't do it. Don't. It's almost as bad as the episode when they're trying to throw stuff away, and the whole entire time, like, the doctor's sitting where you're sitting, and the patient's sitting there, and the whole entire time I can see a stack of boxed Nintendo and Super Nintendo games between them, and I'm like, oh, don't throw those away. Don't throw those away. There's an episode where this dude's walking. This was the episode that's in Dayton. The guy's walking through a house, and I can see diamond boxes. So I'm like sitting there going, I wonder whose store he took those from, or whose garbage he took those from. Because I'm like, I know everybody who has a store in Dayton. Mm-hmm. And then there's like comics on the floor and stuff, and I'm like, I wonder whose store he goes to, because of course they don't tell you where in Dayton he is. But no, man, it's scary because, like I said, I want it. Joe always tells me, he goes, I'm just gonna save everything and open up a museum to old media. I had a woman who was supposed to get a hold of me. I got a message her because she was supposed to send me a picture of a 16mm projector that she has in Troy. So I'll see if I'll go on that one. But I have 8mm, two 8mm projectors, one regular, one with sound. I have a Laserdisc player, a Spectravision player. I used to have a Beta. I don't know what happened to that. I think I got lost in the move. I have multiple VCRs. I have dual deck VCRs. I have DVD to VCR to DVD burners. I have DVD players. I have Blu-ray players. I have cassette players, record players, CD players. I now have reel-to-reel audio player. And my goal is to get a 16mm, and I would love to have a 32 inch, but that's a giant theater projector that I will never have because I'll never have room for it. So,
yeah.
And it'll all go, but it's because, like I said, they can't take away. They can digitally take it away from you, but if you own it physically, they can't take it away from you. So I can't stress enough how anti like owning digital media. I mean, I don't mind it. You can own it, but I feel like you need a physical copy, even if you have a digital copy, because they've recently come out and said that you don't own it. So, what kind of notes are you writing down? You're writing down at work in the morning, need to finish. Yeah, but it's a partial day for you. Not a real partial day, but yeah.
Still got to be there for.
I have no idea what's
7
even
hours.
time on the thing. No, we're only like an hour and shit. We were dicking around for like. Let's go another 15. Can you get another 15 minutes?
I guess so. I mean, I'm gonna get to bed at midnight.
Midnight. All right.
Will the future bring from Nintendo? More hits like Super Mario Brothers. Arcade hits like Kung Fu. Nintendo has the most video game hits. Hogan's Alley, Duck Hunt, and more like baseball and Excite Bike. And you can play them only on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
So, as we were starting out through this, talking about 70s, 80s, and I go on a tangent about television and digital media.
Yeah.
As it goes back to our old podcast when it was just the podcast and no picture. I would go on tangents and rants forever, and
pretty much.
I think that well, it's funny because Mick came in the other day and he goes, if you could get the digital compact cassettes, which was the transition from cassette tapes to CDs, and no one remembers.
Watch out, America. You never know where Zap-It will pop up next.
Hey, Dad.
Bobby! Zap it.
Mr. Mailman.
Why, you... Zap it. The color disappears, but the fun never ends.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, Bobby!
Mom.
Zap it. Complete with guns and disappearing liquid. Additional refills in red or blue sold separately. Zap it. The color disappears, but the fun never ends.
And this will be our first episode with commercials. I'm putting commercials in this bad boy, and not like
I just got him software.
I got better
edit.
better editing and digital software, so we can edit, put commercials in and stuff like that. And I'm not talking. Eventually, we hope to have like monetize this and make actual money off of it, which I doubt will ever really happen.
No, it's for fun.
It's for fun. We are growing. Don't get me wrong. We get people who watch the episode. We get people who get back with us and said they love it. We're at that cusp where we're just trying to push over the like maybe if I make money off this, I would be like ecstatic because like sweet, I'm making money off this too, whatever. But I know it's probably never gonna happen. But we're gonna put goofy shit in. We're gonna put commercials and stuff from the 80s and maybe the 90s and stuff because we think it's funny. So I'm gonna wrap this one up tonight and call it an episode because I could probably go on more tangents and
You probably could
on more dumb shit.
I mean, I really don't even know what we really talked about.
I don't know either. oh yeah, by the way, if you get a chance and before they close if they do close everything, go see the movie Freaky that just dropped on Friday the 13th.
We're going to talk about Freaky.
Freaky is fun. I love the working title was Freaky Friday the 13th.
And which is very fitting.
And because it takes place on Friday the 13th, but we saw it on Thursday the 12th.
Which made me a little nervous.
Literally, yeah, because was exactly 6 months ago is when everything got shut down.
8 months ago.
8 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Friday the 13th, and March was when.
Our anniversary is March 12th. Friday, that was on a Thursday, so Friday the 13th is when everything just went to crap.
What did we go see that Friday? We went and seen something, and then we turned around and went and seen The Hunt. I can't remember what we saw on Thursday.
Was it like Invisible Man?
Yeah, it was Invisible Man. We watched Invisible Man.
Holy crap, I remembered and you didn't?
Yeah.
That's, wow.
We watched Invisible Man on Thursday night. Then we went to, Friday night, we went out to eat. And we went to Smoky Bones. And then Sunday, we went to go see The Hunt. And then we stopped at Kroger's. And then we found out they were shutting everything down.
No, we were coming out of the movie theater. And my mom was texting.
Yeah, okay,
going.
yeah. that's why we went and bought a bunch of stuff while we were at Kroger's.
Yeah.
So, but no, go see Freaky. It's fun. It's Vince Vaughn is great in it, pretending to be a high school girl. The bathroom scene is hilarious.
Yes. It is a funny, goofy horror movie.
If you go in wanting
it's a little bit gory, but really it's not.
It's
bad.
not even. It's the gore is. I think is.
It's comedic.
Yeah, it's comedic gore. Mm-hmm. It's definitely over the top. It's dumb. It pokes fun at Friday the 13th a bit. Mm-hmm. It pokes fun at Freaky Friday. Mm-hmm. It's
because it's literally a mashup of the two.
Yeah, it definitely is a mashup. You got a masked serial killer going around who switches body with a high school senior.
Yeah.
And she's got to be 18. Mm-hmm. So, but oh my god, it's hilarious. It, like I said, Vince Vaughn is funny as shit in it.
Oh yeah.
Her two friends are fun. It's
yeah.
If you got an hour, was it hour 40?
Yeah.
It's an hour 40.
It's a fun movie.
It's a fun movie.
It's a really good date night movie.
It's yeah.
Really good.
You're gonna laugh at it. There's gonna be scenes where you're like, ooh, but there's no real jump scares.
No.
I think the only jump scare is in like the first 5 minutes of the movie. Mm-hmm. It's fun. It's I remember seeing the trailer for it, and they're like, there's this new movie coming out by the people who did Happy Death Day. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, I love Happy Death Day. Mm-hmm. So I gotta see what this is. And then I was like, I watched Freaky, it's like, oh god, this is fun. I gotta see this movie now. I saw the trailer, was like, all right. And then we were worried that it wasn't going to come out on Friday the 13th. I was like, man, it's going to be freaking straight to digital. And then all of a sudden it's like, no. Oh, it's going to be in theaters? Mm-hmm. Sweet. Since the quarantine ended, we've seen 3 movies. We saw New Mutants, Tenet, and now Freaky. Mm-hmm. There's a couple other ones I wanted to see, but
it really hasn't ended, but
yeah, it probably looks like it might start back up again.
Well, it never really ended.
Yeah, but
it like partially went back to stuff, being able to do stuff, and
yeah,
now people are gonna screw it up again. But
yep. So, all right, as always, like and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube, Podbean, Google Podcast, Audrey Podcast, Apple Podcast. I'm sure we're on some other podcasting networks that I don't even know how we're on them, but that seems to be how podcasts work. But remember, do our Patreon, because you help us buy digital software and stuff. We bought a camera. We bought some new software and whatnot. Thanks to
the cat
who have been helping us. And as you see, Maze. This is one of the cats that was knocking the camera down around in the last episode, along with the butthead dog that is over there underneath the table. So remember, check us out. If you want to comment, let us know what you like, what you don't like. And hopefully next episode we are looking at having some guests back. I just got to get the scheduling done for those. We got 3 guests lined up. Just got to get the schedule done. And y'all have a good night. And remember, we're not licensed therapists.
Nope.
Not even in the least.